Why, hello there, everybody. It is Election Day in America. So if you're in America,
That scared me. Jeez. Why was he in there? And also,
Election Day, welcome to Frontline Football, your one place to get all of the latest news, rumors, updates, highlights, and predictions. So I really hope that with politics, your candidate wins, whoever it is. We don't really care. We don't cover politics on this show because we're a football channel, not a politics channel. So, happy election day, all that stuff. Welcome to Frontline Football, your one place for all your news, rumors, updates, and highlights of the games. And today we got a lot of news to cover from this week's trade deadline. So let's get started, Jack.
Well, there was a pretty quiet trade deadline at the end. We still have some good trades. Kwan Alexander is moving to the New Orleans Saints. Avery Williamson's going from the Jets to the what's his name? Steelers. Okay, I blanked out. Ronnie Stanley is being extended to a big bucks, and Desmond King is off to the Tennessee Titans. I open it up today with some Kwan Alexander action. He was traded from the 49ers to the Saints for, I think it was it was the Saints middle linebacker who was older and overall not as good, and a conditional pick. So I'm going to open this one up to Zach. What are your thoughts?
I don't really know a lot about this player. Even though he's in my division, he's decent. I think the Saints picked up a decent guy. Defensive.
No line.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that would probably help them a lot because their division's starting to heat up a lot more. So, yeah. All right, Josh, what about you? That was hard.
Well, I think that there's a really good move and shows that the Saints are trying to be in a win now state because Rodgers, dang it, wrong quarterback. Breeze is not getting any younger. They need to win now. Breeze has already shown signs that he may be retiring after this year. So this was a good move of getting Kwan Alexander and getting that middle linebacker threat or that linebacking core threat that was in a Super Bowl last year. So he already has the experience. Now it's time to use that experience and get past conference. Okay.
All right, Jack, what about you?
Jack, to his take.
I think this is a good trade for both sides, and I think it shows a lot of both sides. For one, the Niners, they're having a bit of a Super Bowl hangover, they're injury, they're getting hurt, and Jimmy Garoppolo's future is concerning with his recent injuries, etc. And I think his contract is halfway through already, so the guaranteed money may start running out. But I think this shows the Saints are in win-now mode, so they gave up the lesser talent, and then they got the better talent in Kwan. And personally, Demario Davis, solid linebacker, plus Kwan Alexander, solid linebacker. It gives another anchor to the Saints defense overall, and it's a race between them and the Bucks, so they're going to try to do everything they can to keep each other on their heels. AB? Okay, we get Kwan. So I think this was a good move for both sides, and I think the 49ers have to readdress it. They also had Fred Warner already, so it wasn't like they were in desperate need of a linebacker, but I'm not sure what their scheme is, so they may need to. They may already have one, but I know they have Fred Warner.
All right, Josh, what about you?
Okay. Well, we got some news coming out of LA. Desmond King has just been traded to the Tennessee Titans for a fifth round conditional pick. Or it was a seventh round or fifth round. It was one of those rounds of the draft. So let's start it off with Zach. What are your thoughts on the topic?
I think it's pretty good for the Titans. Defensive, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is a really good move by the Titans. The Titans really need to make their defense better because they've been being really messed up by, decent offenses. Like the Texans, they have a decent offense. The Steelers, they have a really good offense. They've stopped a bunch of mediocre offenses, but they haven't stopped the good offenses. So I think that's what they're trying to do right now. They are trying to get back into playoffs, so that it wasn't just a 1-year wonder. Jack, what about you?
A little confusion on the Chargers side because they have Casey Hayward, Chris Harris. I get that there's a lot of depth at cornerback, but I'm pretty sure King is the youngest of those three, so I'd assume you get rid of the older player if you were going to trade. But maybe, you never know. There may have been some issues in the locker room. Maybe he had conflict with the coach. You just don't know with this certain trade stuff. As for the Titans, it explains the Jonathan Joseph release. And I think this is another anchor, solid piece on the defense. I don't think Desmond King's like a Gilmore type where he's changing the pace of the game, but it's a solid piece to add to a Titans defense who struggled the last couple weeks against Cincinnati. And who's the other team they played?
They played
Steelers.
the
So I think this gives them another solid piece to run in their defense. What are your thoughts? Whoever hasn't gone.
Josh.
Okay. So here's the thing about the Desmond King trade. This really is good for the Titans, but terrible for the Chargers because you just lost that young core, which is really what you got to build up being in the city of LA. You got to build up these contenders. And the whole thing with that, you got to make sure that the youth is there. This was a terrible move by the Chargers, and they got like little value for what Desmond King is actually worth as a player. So this was a terrible move. Great move for the Titans because now they have a new secondary threat on their team who's not as old as Jonathan Joseph. So this is good for the Titans, bad for the Chargers.
All right, Jack, what about you?
All right.
For the next story.
For the third story of the day, we have Avery Williamson, New York Jets linebacker, going to the Titans. Or not Titans, Steelers. I'm going to take it away because of my experience of watching him for the last 3 years as being a Jets fan. He was a good leader. He was a solid player. I liked him, but I understand. We're going on a fire sale. He's a risk to Trevor. Trevor is the guy, Joe Douglas, second of all, GM. He wants to get money off the cap. Avery Williamson had a pretty decent chunk, about $8 million in the cap of contract, and trading him was a good idea because first you get draft capital for someone you would have let walk anyway. Second, that $8 million can go towards weapons for Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, etc. Whoever's the franchise QB of the Jets. Who knows? Maybe even Sam Darnold. Probably not. But overall, shows the Jets' powerful tanking maneuvers, and they will continue to trading players that are a little older, reliable veteran. As for the side of the Steelers, it's a good deal. Devin Bush went out for the year. Avery Williamson, he's not on Devin Bush's level, but he is a solid linebacker. He will anchor your defense good enough to get it done. And with Watt, Bud Dupree, you have Minka, you have good enough pieces where he doesn't have to be the leader, but he can be complementary in the defense. What are your thoughts, Zach?
It's really good for the Steelers. The Steelers are in a win-now situation. Ben Roethlisberger is getting older and older by the days, and it's time to win now. Another ring for Big Ben. So I think they're the real deal this year, the Steelers. I think that they can win the Super Bowl. I think this was probably one of the last pieces missing on this team because Devin Bush, you just said, did go away because of an injury. Dang, I said that horribly. But it'll be fine. I mean, I know it's from the Jets, but the Jets have had really good things come from them, like Jamal Adams and, well, hopefully this guy. So, Josh, what about you?
I feel like for the Jets here, this will be a for the Steelers as Devin Bush is injured for the rest of the year. And I feel like it's really showing what the Jets' true intentions are, getting the old guys off the roster, putting some young people in for their quarterback of the future, and giving him some weapons to use. And the first thing is get rid of the big contracts, and then next, get rid of Adam Gase. And they will probably make playoffs in a couple of years with that strategy if they get a good coach.
I don't think they're rebuilding, right? I think what you're supposed to do is get a good head coach and then build a team not around a quarterback. You build a team and then put the quarterback in the system. But that's my opinion on how you should rebuild a team. but maybe the Jets will surprise me. They always can. So, yeah. Okay, so Josh, do the final story of today, and then we'll head to injury update.
Well, I get that hat out of here. Ronnie Stanley has just been signed to an extension by the Baltimore Ravens. That's really it. He's been signed to an extension. Let's see. Let's go with Zach for his takes on the story.
All right. We'll figure out what's really happening with him during injury update. Jack, what about you?
Okay, because I don't want to spoil the injury update, even though most people already know, but Ronnie Stanley, this is a good move by the Ravens. This is one of the better left tackles in football, and key to a franchise QB, unless you're one of these outliers that can do it without an offensive line, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, where they can do it when they don't need it, but franchise left tackle. Now, I don't buy into Lamar is going to last forever, and I think that if he's going to want to transition into the more Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray area of not constantly running, but being able to throw the ball as well, he's going to need a good left tackle to protect him. With Orlando Brown on the other side, the Ravens have a really good O-line. What are your thoughts, Josh?
So that's a good move for the Ravens. We'll see how it goes. I'm not going to be spoiling anything for injury update. So this is going to be a good move by them to lock down this guy, because I don't think Lamar Jackson is as good as advertised as he was last year. And I think he's going to need to go into that passing game. And with a good left tackle, you can get into that passing game really well. Zach?
Okay. So, now it's time for injury update. I already said my take, so let's do this. George Kittle out with an ankle injury. This is really bad for the Niners. Jimmy G also out with a high ankle injury. And finally, it's not finally. We still got two others. But we got Roddy. God, I can't say his name for the life of me. What is it again?
Ronnie.
There we go. Ronnie Stanley tore his ACL. Yikes. That hurts. Myles Garrett had an MRI. Or, I think. I saw on Bleacher Report. And then Kenny Galladay is out with a hip injury. So, not good for the Niners. Yikes. All right, I'm going to hand this off to Jack and see what his thoughts are while I get my voice back.
Oh, San Fran, you guys can't seem to catch a break. Enjoy your Injury Bowl championship with the Super Bowl hangover. And now I'm curious how this team will rebound, depending on how long Jimmy G's out. They're not making the playoffs at this rate. Their division is overpowered and has three pretty much elite football teams in it. And I'd say Kenny Galladay's another big loss, specifically for Stafford. That was his number one weapon. This guy was the king of contested catches as of late. He catches anything thrown at him. He's been a great help. But this will be a lookout for fantasy people. Maybe get Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola, TJ Hawkinson. Probably going to get more targets depending on how long he's gone. And last but not least, Ronnie Stanley. We may see a little more rushing from Lamar without his left tackle protecting him. So that's another thing to look out for. Overall, these are big losses for all their teams, these three. And I wish them the best in the recovery process. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Hey, what about Myles Garrett? What do you think about him?
Oh, yeah, Myles Garrett. He's another big loss. That was a lot of sacks and a lot of pressure in Cleveland. I'm not sure who they play this week.
They don't play anybody this week. I think it's a bye week.
Oh, so they got lucky. So they're just going to hope to have him back. And if they don't, I'd be a little concerned. You'd have to rely on the offense. But good news is I think Nick Chubb may be making his return soon. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out in Cleveland. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Always someone injured in Cleveland. Well, we don't know yet about Myles Garrett, but I don't think it looks good. Okay, Niners, you play in the hardest division yet. Cardinals looking really good. I know I'm biased, but they are looking really good. Seahawks, they're better than the Cardinals. I know that. We just got a really good win over them. And, well, the Rams, they're the Rams. It matters how Jared Goff plays. They need a better quarterback. I really think that instead of trying for wins, I think they really should have gone for a new quarterback. But that's my opinion. So, And then I already mentioned Myles Garrett. If they have a bye week, so they just gotta pray that Myles Garrett doesn't have an injury because I think he's leading the league in sacks right now, or it's Aaron Donald, one of the two. But that is a really good pass rusher. He hasn't gotten ejected or anything. He's done really well. So yeah, Josh, what about you?
These are big losses for all the different teams. I really wish I could find my Alcatraz hat because I put that on right now, saying that the 49ers seem like they're in Alcatraz with how because they can't do anything. Their team keeps getting injured. They had the Super Bowl hangover, and so this isn't a good year for the Niners. And so those are two big losses. Galladay's a big loss because that is Stafford's favorite target. That flew out of my mouth. Staley is a big loss because he did just sign that big deal like our previous section. So that's a big loss for the year. You're going to need your left tackle in a league like this. And was that it?
Did you mention Myles Garrett?
Garrett's a big loss. He's one of the best in Cleveland at sacks. So
Well, he's not injured yet. He's having an MRI.
If the MRI comes back bad, there's going to be a big loss for them too.
Yeah. I don't have to face him. You do. I don't know if Jack has to. Oh, so you're probably hoping that
We were
he
gonna
has.
lose anyway, though. Let's be honest.
But it wouldn't be as bad. All right, Josh, you end it. Okay.
If you guys love what we do here, 1 second.
You're frozen. Oh, whoa, he disappeared. Jack, he's a wizard.
Where'd he go? I'll be back.
If you like to see what we do here,
Oh,
don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. That dislike button, if you don't like it, it does the same thing for YouTube. It gets us into their algorithm. And finally, hit that notification bell. And
Jack's turn.
that's it. That's one for me.
Follow
Jack,
the
the plugs.
socials, please, for news and, more importantly, polls. You can pick any team to win. You gotta say it here. You get to say, you get your say, and we get to say if we agree or disagree with your say. So we'll be back next week. Well, actually, this one's coming out early. We're gonna get both the 2 news videos out Tuesday or Wednesday. Then predictions will be Thursday or Friday, so a bit of a change in the schedule, but we'll make it work either way. You'll get your 2 Frontline Football videos a week, as usual, and we hope you enjoyed. Any closing thoughts before we go off the air?
I don't think so.
And one more thing. Don't forget, everybody. You know what's happening. You know what's happening. You have 27 days left, maybe 26 when you're hearing this, but don't forget to stay strong. You have 27 days left to this.
Oh.
And if you know, you know.
Oh,
So we'll see you guys next week.
oh
Same
God,
place,
Josh.
same time. 26 days. Enjoy the rest of your week.